Blake Lively's Staggering, It Ends With Us salary has officially been revealed, and the world cannot stop talking about it. Because when a woman who began as a bright-spirited teenager on the sets of Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants rises to become one of Hollywood's most beloved icons, it feels like watching a dream unfold right before our eyes. Blake Lively has always carried herself with grace, humor, and authenticity, and now as reports swirl about the incredible paycheck she earned for her starring role in the highly anticipated film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel, fans are both amazed and proud. It is said that Blake commanded a figure that places her among the highest-paid actresses of her generation, a testament not only to her talent, but to her decades of consistent work, fashion, influence, business ventures, and deep connection with her fans. Yet what makes this story even more fascinating is how Blake never let fame consume her. She has always radiated the same girl-next-door energy mixed with the confidence of a woman who knows her worth. She navigated Hollywood's glittering maze with her head held high, never losing sight of what truly matters: family, creativity, kindness, and storytelling. From her breakout as Serena van der Woodsen on Gossip Girl to her bold film choices like The Shallows and A Simple Favor, she has proven that beauty and intelligence can harmoniously coexist, and now with It Ends With Us, she steps into a character layered with vulnerability and strength, mirroring her own journey of balancing glamour and authenticity. It is this same honesty that makes fans root for her, because even when surrounded by flashing cameras, designer gowns, and red carpets, Blake always finds a way to make people feel she could be their friend, the one who would laugh over coffee share mom life stories or inspire them to chase their dreams. And beyond the screen, she has done exactly that through her fashion ventures, her sustainable initiatives, and her devotion to charity work. Blake Lively's passion extends to empowering young women, encouraging creativity, and promoting kindness across social media, while staying refreshingly private about her family life. Her relationship with Ryan Reynolds often makes headlines for their witty exchanges, but behind those jokes lies a partnership grounded in love, respect, and shared humor, making them one of Hollywood's most admired couples. And as the conversation around her It Ends With Us salary grows, many overlook the years of hard work that built the foundation for such success, because this is not just about one paycheck. It is about the evolution of a career that blossomed from a dream into a global influence. And that influence extends beyond Hollywood, reaching into fashion, where Blake has become a red carpet queen known for styling herself at major events. Her eye for color, silhouette, and detail makes every appearance feel effortless yet powerful. And when she steps onto a carpet, it is more than fashion. It is art, storytelling, and self-expression combined. Her ensembles have been studied by stylists and admired by millions, inspiring countless looks across the world. And it is fascinating how fashion weaves into the narrative of her life, because through her style, she communicates growth, confidence, and joy. Much like other icons before her, from Audrey Hepburn to Zendaya, Blake represents a generation that celebrates individuality over perfection, and while she reigns as one of America's fashion sweethearts, her story resonates far beyond the US, connecting with fans in Europe, Asia, and beyond, who see in her the spirit of modern womanhood, full of strength, grace, and heart. And speaking of global inspiration, the story of Blake Lively cannot be told without acknowledging how intertwined it has become with other luminaries of her era, like Taylor Swift, whose own journey from country roots to pop superstardom mirrors the resilience and reinvention that define this generation of women in entertainment. Both Blake and Taylor share a deep bond built on mutual respect, creativity, and authenticity. Their friendship reminds fans everywhere that true empowerment often comes from supporting one another rather than competing. And together they symbolize the strength of modern sisterhood, a message that resonates deeply in a world where women are constantly told to compete instead of collaborate. Blake's connection with fans mirrors that warmth she radiates online when she shares glimpses of her life or promotes causes close to her heart. She does so with sincerity and humor, never resorting to shock value or negativity. And in a culture that thrives on gossip and spectacle, she proves that kindness still captures attention. And it is no surprise that her financial success reflects that balance, because audiences reward authenticity. And when Blake signed on for It Ends With Us, she was not just signing for a film, she was stepping into a story that speaks about love, strength, survival, and emotional healing, themes that she has always represented through her work and presence. As we continue this journey exploring the interconnected world of celebrity achievement, we see parallels in stars from around the globe who, like Blake, have turned passion into purpose, from the dazzling rise of Zendaya, who transformed from Disney beginnings into a powerhouse actress and fashion icon, to the inspiring story of Priyanka Chopra Jonas, who crossed continents to conquer Hollywood while staying deeply connected to her Indian heritage. The thread that ties them all together is resilience and grace, and that same thread runs through the lives of artists like Emma Stone, whose humor and humility endear her to millions, or Margot Robbie, whose production company champions female-led stories changing the fabric of modern cinema. Each of them, like Blake, shows that success is not an overnight miracle, but the sum of courage, persistence, and love for craft. And as part one of this journey unfolds, it becomes clear that Blake Lively's staggering salary for It Ends With Us is not just a headline. It is a milestone, a reflection of an era where women in Hollywood are reclaiming their worth, writing their own narratives and inspiring audiences everywhere to believe that dreams built with heart can indeed change the world. As the world keeps turning its eyes toward Blake Lively's luminous success and the glittering revelation of her staggering It Ends With Us salary, we drift into the wider constellation of stars whose journeys illuminate the skies of fame and resilience. Because behind every polished photo shoot and award show smile, there lies a tapestry woven with struggle, hope, laughter, and a refusal to give up. Think of Zendaya, who started as a young performer with big dreams and an even bigger heart, and has now become an emblem of elegance, versatility, and courage. She moves between acting, singing, fashion, and activism, with a calm confidence that inspires a generation. She has become the voice of youth, urging fans to embrace individuality and authenticity. Her journey from Shake It Up to Euphoria mirrors a transformation, not just of career, but of character, showing that growth is beautiful and necessary. And like Blake, she uses her platform to highlight issues that matter, from inclusivity in fashion to representation in storytelling. And speaking of representation, we cross over to the powerful story of Priyanka Chopra Jonas, whose career stands as a bridge between worlds, from her early triumphs as Miss World to her groundbreaking success in both Bollywood and Hollywood. She embodies ambition laced with humility. She speaks often of the challenges she faced of being told she was too different, too foreign, and yet she persisted, carving her place among global stars with unshakable self-belief. And now, as a producer and philanthropist, she uplifts others to dream big. Her partnership with UNICEF, her work for children's education, and her voice for equality have made her not just a celebrity, but a citizen of the world, inspiring millions. Across borders and languages, her story connects seamlessly to that of another global powerhouse, Rihanna, whose empire spans music, fashion, and beauty. She began with the rhythm of the Caribbean and turned that rhythm into a roar that echoes in every corner of the globe. Her creation of Fenty Beauty transformed an industry, reminding everyone that inclusivity is not a trend, but a truth. Her courage to pause her musical journey and build something greater shows that reinvention is a form of artistry, too, and fans adore her for it. Just as they adore how she balances motherhood and entrepreneurship, showing that power and softness can coexist. And when she walks onto a stage or a runway, she carries the dreams of countless young women who see in her the courage to be unapologetically themselves. And as we move through this shimmering world, we see how each celebrity crafts their own legacy, one that transcends fame and fortune. We look at Lady Gaga, whose heart beats for kindness as loudly as it does for music. Her transformation from Stefani Germanotta to an icon of creativity reminds us that vulnerability is strength. She pours her soul into every song, every performance, and every cause she supports through the Born This Way Foundation. She teaches self-love, mental health awareness, and empathy, turning her spotlight into a sanctuary for millions. And as she stands at the crossroads of art and advocacy, she represents what it means to evolve without losing essence, much like Blake Lively, who continues to evolve with grace, balancing stardom and motherhood. And that harmony echoes across the stories of stars like Jennifer Lopez, whose energy defies time itself. Her journey from the Bronx to Hollywood to global superstardom is a masterclass in perseverance. She reinvented herself again and again as a dancer, singer, actress, producer, and businesswoman, always with that same spark that made audiences fall in love. Decades ago, she shows that success is ageless and that dreams have no expiration date. And when she shares her story, she reminds fans that behind every achievement lies discipline, heart, and the courage to rise after every fall. Similar threads weave through the life of Selena Gomez, who transformed her personal battles into messages of hope. Her music and her mental health advocacy have made her a role model for authenticity. She opens up about her struggles, not to seek sympathy, but but to spark conversations that heal. She uses her platform to break stigma and encourage compassion, her brand. Rare beauty is more than makeup. It is a movement toward self-acceptance, and her friendship with other artists, including Taylor Swift, creates a network of support that reflects the best of humanity, showing that fame does not have to isolate, it can unite. And as we circle back to Blake, we see how all these stories intertwine, forming a global chorus of resilience, beauty, and grace, where each celebrity becomes a mirror reflecting our own potential. And dreams, the dazzling lights of their careers, are not just symbols of fortune, but beacons guiding us toward belief in ourselves, from Zendaya, standing tall in couture that celebrates identity, to Blake, stepping into a role that challenges the heart, from Priyanka, bringing cultures together, to Rihanna, reshaping industries. The energy that flows between them is one of empowerment and artistry. It reminds us that even in a world that often focuses on numbers, headlines, and salaries, what truly lasts are the moments of connection, the gestures of generosity, the courage to be real, and the will to rise again. After the curtain falls, every red carpet, every award, every heartfelt post becomes part of a larger story. A human story, one that began with dreams and continues with purpose. And as we reach the midpoint of this cinematic exploration, we realize that the staggering figure attached to Blake Lively's latest role is not just a symbol of financial triumph, it is a testament to the value of dedication, authenticity, and courage, values that shine across the entire constellation of celebrities who inspire the world to dream a little bigger, love a little deeper, and never stop believing in the magic of becoming. As the golden thread of fame and perseverance continues to weave through our story, we drift from the glow of Blake Lively and her breathtaking "It Ends With Us" success into the wide horizon of other dreamers whose journeys have lit up the sky of modern celebrity. And in this glittering panorama, one cannot miss the incredible light of Beyoncé, whose very name has become a synonym for excellence, discipline, and empowerment. Her journey from a Houston girl with a vision to a global symbol of strength is legendary, and what sets her apart is not only her unmatched talent, but her relentless drive to uplift others through every note she sings and every step she takes. She carries the essence of hard work, of faith, and of fierce love for art and humanity. Her visual albums are not just entertainment, they are cultural revolutions, blending music, fashion, activism, and heritage into symphonies of identity. She has taught millions that greatness is not inherited, but earned with grit and grace. And when she stands on stage with that regal aura, the world pauses to witness what dedication can build. Her philanthropic work, from disaster relief to education programs, continues quietly but powerfully, reminding us that kindness is the crown that never fades. And beside her legacy, we find stars like Harry Styles, who has taken the journey from boy band sensation to solo artistry with authenticity and charm. He broke boundaries of style and gender expression, proving that fashion is freedom and self-expression is beauty. His music carries a softness that invites healing and joy, and his kindness toward fans has turned concerts into communities of acceptance, where everyone feels seen and loved, and his ability to connect mirrors the deeper truth of fame, that it is not about distance but about resonance. And across the ocean, we find the brilliance of BTS, whose meteoric rise from humble beginnings in South Korea to world domination redefined the meaning of global artistry. Their music transcends language, weaving messages of self-love, unity, and hope. While their charity work and mental health advocacy continue to inspire millions, their journey is a modern epic of persistence, reminding the world that culture is borderless and dreams are universal. And as we shift from the rhythm of music to the language of cinema, we find Keanu Reeves, a man whose legend grows not from extravagance but from humility. His story is a quiet testament to grace in a noisy world. His career has spanned decades, filled with blockbuster success and personal loss. Yet he remains grounded and generous, known for random acts of kindness and a gentle spirit that captivates fans everywhere. He has shown that you can be both a superstar and a good soul, that fame need not strip away humanity, and his resilience has turned him into an icon of integrity, much like Sandra Bullock, whose journey through comedy, drama, and heartbreak has made her a beacon of relatability. She has navigated triumphs and trials with warmth and humor, and her long-standing career speaks to her versatility and endurance. Her laughter lights up every film, and her kindness behind the scenes has touched countless lives. And as we wander through these intertwined tales, we discover that what truly binds these luminaries is not their fame, but their faith in something bigger than themselves, a desire to make the world a little brighter through their art, fashion, and compassion. And in the kaleidoscope of this world, we see figures like Emma Watson, whose evolution from child star to activist has been both graceful and bold. She took her platform and transformed it into a voice for gender equality through the He for She movement. She continues to prove that beauty and intellect are not opposites but allies, and her advocacy has opened doors for countless young women to dream beyond boundaries. And as her path intertwines with others, we recall stars like Angelina Jolie, who turned her pain into purpose, becoming a UN ambassador and dedicating her life to refugees and humanitarian efforts. Her journey from rebellious youth to global advocate stands as a living example of redemption and love. She travels to the corners of the earth not for applause, but to listen to stories that the world needs to hear, and her compassion shines brighter than any award. And as this flow of stories continues, we meet figures like Tom Hanks, whose career feels like a warm embrace. His roles have carried messages of hope, decency, and perseverance from Forrest Gump to Castaway. And in real life, his kindness mirrors those characters he is known for: humility, generosity, and an unwavering sense of gratitude, a reminder that true greatness is often quiet and gentle. And in this same spirit, we see stars like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, whose rise from hardship to Hollywood dominance stands as one of the most inspiring tales of modern celebrity. His charisma, work ethic, and constant encouragement towards self-improvement have turned him into a global motivator. His journey reminds fans that strength is not only physical, but emotional, that laughter can heal, and that even the toughest paths can lead to incredible peaks. And when he smiles, on screen the world feels a little lighter. And from strength, we move to grace as we look at Taylor Swift again, a poet of our age whose pen captures the essence of human emotion from heartbreak to victory. Her courage to reclaim her art and her narrative has reshaped the music industry. She stands as a symbol of ownership, empowerment, and growth. Her connection with fans is intimate and real. Her kindness and thoughtfulness resonate through surprise gifts, heartfelt messages, and a genuine love for storytelling. And when she steps on stage, the energy she brings feels like a wave of collective healing. And her story, like Blake's, reminds us that the most powerful form of fame is built on honesty and artistry. And as we near the end of this segment, we realize how interconnected these lives are, like stars forming constellations that guide us through the night. Each one burns differently, yet together they create a universe of inspiration and hope, from Beyoncé's anthems of empowerment to Keanu's quiet humility, from BTS's messages of self-love to Blake's celebration of balance and beauty. These stories tell us that fame is fleeting, but legacy is eternal, and it is built not just on success, but on kindness, vision, and love. The same qualities that keep audiences listening, watching, and believing that even in the brightest spotlight, the truest glow comes from within. And as the lights of fame continue to shimmer, we journey further into the stories of those who turned their platforms into sources of hope and wonder. Because beyond the cameras and red carpets, the true essence of celebrity lives in their ability to move hearts and shift perspectives. We think of Oprah Winfrey, whose story is perhaps one of the most profound transformations in modern history. From a childhood marked by hardship to becoming one of the most powerful women in media, her rise was not only a triumph of talent, but of vision and empathy. She built a career on listening, understanding, and giving a voice to those who had none. Her influence extends far beyond television through her philanthropy, education initiatives, and relentless encouragement of self-belief. Oprah has taught generations that your past does not define your future. Your choices do. Her journey reminds us of the quiet truth that success means more when it uplifts others, and this same spirit echoes through figures like Ellen DeGeneres, who brought laughter and kindness to millions. Her message of "be kind" resonated deeply, showing that even humor can be healing, and though fame can be heavy, it can also be light and laughter when used to unite rather than divide. And in the vast landscape of global artistry, we meet figures like Shakira, whose music carries the pulse of cultures from Colombia to the world. She has proven that rhythm knows no borders, her fusion of sounds, her incredible stage presence, and her humanitarian work through the Barefoot Foundation have built schools, educated children, and changed lives. Shakira embodies the idea that art becomes immortal when it touches lives beyond entertainment, and standing beside her in spirit is Malala Yousafzai. Though not a traditional celebrity, her courage and activism have inspired stars and fans alike. She turned tragedy into triumph, her voice reaching classrooms and parliaments around the world, reminding us that bravery can change Destiny, her friendship with artists and global leaders, reflects the harmony between fame and purpose, showing that influence can be a force for good. And that same force drives Leonardo DiCaprio, whose decades-long career has been marked by both artistic brilliance and environmental passion, from Titanic to The Revenant. His performances have captured human vulnerability, while his foundation works tirelessly to combat climate change, protect wildlife, and promote sustainability, proving that true artistry includes caring for the planet we call home. His journey reminds us that influence is not just what we create, but what we protect. And as we glide through this constellation of impact, we find Emma Thompson, a woman whose wit, intelligence, and grace illuminate every role she plays. She stands as an example of integrity in a business that often values image over depth. She writes, speaks, and acts with purpose, always grounded in authenticity, and her advocacy for equality and the environment has made her one of the most respected voices in film. And beyond, her laughter is contagious, her compassion endless, and her artistry timeless. And then there is the magical story of Robert Downey Jr., whose comeback remains one of Hollywood's most celebrated rebirths after years of struggle and redemption. He re-emerged stronger, wiser, and more creative, turning Iron Man into not just a superhero, but a symbol of second chances. His story reminds us that failure is not the end, but a lesson in disguise. That transformation begins when we choose to believe again, and his philanthropic ventures, including environmental technology and animal welfare, showcase how healing the world often begins with healing oneself. And as we linger in the realm of comebacks, we cannot forget Demi Lovato, who turned her personal battles into music that heals others. She speaks openly about recovery, self-love, and resilience, inspiring fans who find strength in her honesty. Her voice, both powerful and tender, carries messages that save lives one lyric at a time. And across oceans, we find stars like Shah Rukh Khan, the king of Bollywood, whose charisma and humility have made him beloved across generations. His story, from a small apartment in Delhi to the heights of global cinema, is an anthem of persistence. His charm, his humor, and his philanthropy, especially in healthcare and child welfare projects, have earned him love beyond borders. His success is not just cinematic, it is human. And his belief that art should bring joy and connection mirrors the heartbeat of every story in this journey. And from there, our focus shifts to Angelina Jolie's children laughing in refugee camps, to Taylor Swift writing lyrics that become lifelines, to Blake Lively reading scripts late at night, crafting characters who inspire others to find strength within themselves. It is in these moments that the world of celebrities becomes a mirror for our own struggles and dreams, reminding us that behind every spotlight is a person who once stood in the dark, hoping for a chance to shine. And as we explore this shared humanity, we find other remarkable souls like Chris Hemsworth, who combines strength and gentleness, using his fame to promote health, conservation, and mindfulness. His story, from a surfer in Australia to a global superhero, shows that authenticity resonates across continents. And right beside him are stars like Gal Gadot, whose portrayal of Wonder Woman became a cultural phenomenon, inspiring countless young women to embrace courage, compassion, and confidence. She radiates warmth on and off screen, using her voice for peace, equality, and empowerment. And her journey from soldier to superstar is proof that heroism is not just fiction. It is a choice we make every day. And then there are musicians like Billie Eilish, whose creativity redefines pop culture. Her haunting lyrics and innovative style show that youth and depth can coexist. She speaks for a generation that values honesty over perfection, and her advocacy for environmental causes and mental health awareness adds even more weight to her artistry. Her connection with fans feels like friendship, raw, real, and reassuring. And through all these stories, one truth shines bright: that the world of fame, when guided by heart, becomes a source of hope and wonder. Each artist, each actor, each dreamer is part of a larger narrative, one that celebrates the beauty of imperfection and the magic of perseverance. And as we move toward the grand finale of this odyssey, the story returns gently to Blake Lively, whose journey began this tale. Her success, her fashion, grace, and love for storytelling now stand as symbols of what it means to build a life with purpose. Her staggering "It Ends With Us" salary might have captured headlines, but her legacy captures hearts. And as we prepare to step into the final chapter, we realize that this has never been about wealth or fame, but about the courage to dream, the strength to rise, and the grace to give back when the world is watching and even when it is not. As we arrive at the final chapter of this journey through the glittering yet deeply human world of celebrities, we find ourselves standing in awe, Not of the fame or fortune, but of the hearts that beat behind every camera flash, because every name, every story, every triumph and setback we have explored carries within it a spark of something universal. The desire to create, to connect, to leave the world a little brighter than before. And as we return to Blake Lively, whose Staggering It Ends, with us Salary first sparked this exploration, we see her not as just an actress, but as a symbol of how dedication and grace can transform opportunity into legacy. Her rise from humble beginnings to Hollywood prominence was never a tale of overnight success. It was one of consistency, heart, and faith. She navigated fame with a smile that felt genuine and with choices that spoke of self-belief and integrity. Her fashion moments, her charitable work, her family life, and her humor all reflect the truth that the most beautiful kind of fame is the one that grows from authenticity. And as she stands today as one of the highest-paid actresses of her generation, her story becomes a reflection of how far women in the industry have come from being undervalued to commanding respect, recognition, and equality. And her success becomes a light for the next generation of dreamers who watch from their bedrooms, crafting visions of what they might one day become. And in this collective dream, we find so many voices blending together into a global chorus of inspiration, from the trailblazers who broke ceilings to the newcomers who are redefining what it means to shine. We see the same rhythm of passion and perseverance echoing across continents. From Hollywood to Bollywood, from Seoul to London, from Lagos to Rio, every culture has its icons, every voice its hero, and each of them, in their own way, reminds us that talent may open doors, but kindness keeps them open. We remember figures like Meryl Streep, whose quiet wisdom continues to guide the craft of acting. Her devotion to storytelling and her refusal to conform have made her a living legend. And we think of stars like Lupita Nyong'o, who brought grace and brilliance to every role. While using her platform to celebrate self-love and diversity, her presence is poetry in motion, and her advocacy lights the path for others who once felt unseen. And we think of Michael B. Jordan, whose passion for representation and empowerment mirrors his on-screen heroism. He builds opportunities for others because he knows that real strength is shared. And around the world, the pattern repeats in artists, athletes, and activists who rise not just to be admired, but to make a difference. Like Naomi Osaka, who spoke bravely about mental health breaking stigmas and proving that vulnerability is power. Or Greta Thunberg, whose courage as a young voice has moved millions to act for the planet, reminding even the most famous that legacy is not measured in applause but in impact. And it is in this collective impact that the world of celebrity finds its deepest meaning. For though the word itself suggests distance, these stories have shown us that the most extraordinary people are those who remain deeply human in extraordinary circumstances. They cry, they doubt, they learn, they grow, and they share those journeys with the world so that others may find courage in them. When a fan listens to a song that heals a broken heart, or watches a film that sparks a new dream, or reads a message from their favorite star, reminding them to keep going, that connection becomes a thread of light weaving through lives across oceans and generations. And in that light, we see the true purpose of art. It is not perfection, but connection. And through that connection, we rediscover ourselves. And as the music of their stories rises one last time, we look again at Blake Lively radiant. Not because of numbers on a paycheck, but because of what those numbers represent: years of effort, talent, and persistence, a symbol of how far she and so many others have come. She stands among peers who turned art into activism, fame into fuel, and style into storytelling, and the beauty of it all is that their journeys never truly end. They evolve just like ours do, growing and shifting with every chapter. And as the credits roll on this unseen documentary, the message remains simple yet timeless: that success is sweetest when shared, that beauty shines brightest when it uplifts, and that legacy is built not from luxury, but from love. So as the stars fade into the night sky and the world takes a breath, we remember that behind every dazzling performance, every heartfelt lyric, and every generous act lies the same spark that exists within all of us. The spark to dream, to create, to endure, to rise again and again until our own stories become lights for someone else to follow. And maybe that is what makes the world of celebrities so captivating: not the fame, but the reflection it offers of what we too can become when we lead with heart, as Blake Lively and countless others have shown. It is not about how much you earn, but how much you inspire. And in that truth, we find the real ending, which is also the beginning of every dream yet to come. If you love motivational storytelling, celebrity journeys, and cinematic narratives that feel like a friend talking to your heart, this video is for you. Comment below your favorite celebrity story and tell us who inspires you most. Like, subscribe and turn on notifications to never miss more inspiring documentaries.